Cycling has something of a weight obsession. Many road cyclists aim to be as light as possible so that they can be as fast as possible when going up climbs.
But being light isn't the only way to win races. Being bigger and more powerful is far more helpful in most situations unless you've got a summit finish.
And with the help of science, we're going to explain and demonstrate why.
Oh, oh. Hey, wait up! Wait up for me! The world's best climbers tend to be quite light. However, the world's best time trialists, sprinters, and classics riders tend to be of a bigger build.
Yeah, and we love talking about watts per kilo as cyclists, your power to weight ratio. And while this is an excellent way to predict how fast you'll travel on a climb, it's not as simple as that when you're on the flat. So for example, here's a demonstration. Myself and Alex have both weighed our bikes and clothing, and they're coming out as being, well, pretty much the same. Our bikes are both 7.5 kilos. We've also weighed ourselves, and the difference there is around 10 kilos. Now, we're both going to ride up this climb at 4 watts per kilo, which for Alex is around 325 watts, and for me is about 280 watts. We're then going to ride on the flat section after the climb, which, again, we're going to hold 4 watts per kilo and see what happens. Now, with us both doing 4 watts per kilo on the climb, in theory, we should ride at the same speed, and I'm pretty impressed to see it's actually where we are.
It's as if science and maths is actually playing out in real life.
Now, while this is all good and well on this climb, I've got a feeling it might change once we hit the flat section after the climb. So we'll keep pedaling through, riding next to each other, side by side, so we're not getting a draft off each other, and see what happens.
Right, stick to your power.
Yeah, stick to 4 watts per kilo. We're starting to hit the flat section, cresting the hill now.
Right. Ah! This is incredible! I'm actually dropping. I'm dropping him straight away. And if you're wondering why I'm dropping Ollie, let's explain now with some science.
What we're observing here is a classic example of allometric scaling. What is allometric scaling? I can hear you asking. Well, it's a classic example of power law scaling, which can be described by equations that typically take the form of y equals am to the power b, where y is a biological variable, m is your body mass, and b is a scaling exponent.
Oh, sorry, I still don't really understand. Yeah.
Okay, so basically allometric scaling is how organisms change with respect to their size. And when you're riding on the flat, aerodynamics and drag and your frontal area are the most important things, because pushing air out of the way is your biggest obstacle, far more important than gravity if you want to go faster.
Okay, but smaller riders are more aerodynamic. They've got less frontal area, so how come it doesn't balance out?
Oh, well, that, my friend, is because of allometric scaling. See, as you increase in size, your frontal area, but also your body surface area, increases as a squared function to the power 2. But as your body mass increases, that increases, and your volume increases as a cubed function to the power 3. If that's hard to follow, imagine a cube. For example, if you double the size, measured edge to length, of a cube, its surface area is quadrupled and its volume is increased 8 times its original volume. So put simply, as cyclists get bigger, their volume increases and the power they can produce increases, but it increases at a rate that's faster than the rate at which their frontal area and surface area increases.
And head on now, you can see the difference in frontal area between 70 kilogram Ollie and 80 kilogram me. It's a fairly small difference.
Yes, and if we both ride at 4 watts per kilo on the flat, And Alex is producing around 15% more power than I am, but his frontal area has only increased by around 5%.
And it's for that reason that I can ride faster on the flat.
First one to the cafe gets the cake.
Oh, Ollie, this is brilliant. I'm going to get a massive.
Well, unfortunately, it's not as simple as that. This is the complicated bit. So, although as your volume increases as a cubed function, your power that you can produce doesn't. It's not linear. We're not 100% efficient, and, well, scaling doesn't work like that. Plus, not all that the added mass that you're going to put on, it's not all going to be muscle.
Oh.
For example, if we double the height and size of Alex, but he maintains the same shape, then we'll end up with an Alex that has 4 times the muscle power, but moving 8 times the mass. So he'll, well, roughly have half the agility of normal-sized Alex. It'd be a big lumbering Alex, a bit like Connor.
Scientists have tried to accurately predict how changes in size in humans affects our performance, and they've actually published a number of different papers on this.
The consensus in the scientific literature is that the amount of power you can produce, or your VO2 max, is equivalent to your body mass to the power 0.66, also known as 2/3 power scaling.
Now, as long as the power you're producing is increasing at a greater rate than your frontal area, then bingo! You're gonna go faster.
A paper by Heil in the Journal of Applied Physiology demonstrates this well, one of my favourite journals. This paper looked at how body mass would impact performance on the hour record. Right? Don't know if you know this, Alex, but I've actually done an hour record.
Now, you never mentioned it. Anyhow, if you'd have actually bothered to read this paper, you'll have realised that instead of being 68 kilograms, you should have got on the gains train, bro. Got down the gym, got massive. Because this paper calculated that the distance covered in 1 hour would increase with increased body mass. For example, a cyclist going from 50 to 60 kilograms would travel an additional 1.791 kilometres, or 3.4%. But it's not linear, so there would only be an increase of 1.305, or 2.5%, going from 70 to 80 kilograms. And going from 90 to 100 kilograms, just a 1.027 kilometre increase, which is 1.9%. Thus, a larger body mass among qualitatively similar cyclists is clearly a bigger performance advantage, but the absolute advantage decreases as body mass increases. Oh, and for validation, this model very accurately calculated the distance Boardman would travel in his hour records.
Other studies have looked at the effect of scaling humans on hill climb performance, such as this study from the European Journal of Applied Physiology. Incidentally, that's my 5th favourite journal.
What's your most favourite journal?
Angevanta.
I don't even know what that is.
Don't worry about it.
Oh.
And yes, because aerodynamic drag is far less important when you're climbing, being lightweight is king. And being lightweight is much faster. But it's not linear in terms of getting lighter and getting faster. It's different from other sports such as running, and one of the reasons for that is the system mass of your bike and equipment is roughly 10 kilograms, irrespective of how big you are. And this actually has a bigger impact on smaller cyclists because it's a higher proportion of their overall mass. But scientists have done the maths, and they've worked out scaling exponents that you can apply to different weight riders in order to work out what the penalty is for riding up a hill. And, well, they've sort of come to the conclusion that to the power 0.8 is what you should apply as a rule of thumb.
But that's quite abstract. I'm still not really sure I'm getting it.
Okay, so using the equations in this paper, you can precisely calculate what the impact of changing a rider's body mass will be on them being able to cycle a given speed on a climb.
For example, if we take a 72 kilogram rider with a VO2 max of 47, if we remove 10 kilograms of body weight, they will climb 2.15 kilometers per hour faster. But if we take that same rider and add 10 kilograms of body weight to them, they will be slower, but not 2.15 kilometers slower. That's because it's not linear, and some of the increased mass will help make them stronger and faster, meaning the equation predicts that they will only be 1.7 kilometers per hour slower.
Ah, now I'm understanding what you mean. Yeah, I got you.
So although you're adding weight and making them slower, and weight is key on a climb, you've actually gained power by adding weight, so that mitigates it somewhat.
Perfect, thanks.
In conclusion, as you get bigger, you can produce more power, and that increase in power should have more impact than the impact of the increase in mass when riding on the flat, so therefore you can ride faster.
It's the same principle as to why large container ships are so efficient. Container ships have to overcome hydrodynamic drag when travelling through the water, not aerodynamic drag, but the same principle. And if you keep the front of the container ship the same shape, but then massively increase its length, you hugely increase the volume of the ship and the amount of cargo it can transport. But the amount of energy required to continue pushing the ship through the water doesn't change as much.
Maybe we should build like a faired racing tandem.
A faired recumbent. Oh, imagine that.
So what is the optimal size for a cyclist? Well, the average male Tour de France rider is said to be around 5'9" tall and weigh around 65 kilograms, whereas a top track sprinter like Sir Chris Hoy is about 6 foot tall and weighs 95 kilograms.
So from this, we should also conclude that 85 kilogram Filippo Ganna should absolutely demolish the hour record and put it on a shelf, should he attempt it, and win Paris Roubaix. This is, of course, according to science.
Yes, and the beautiful thing about cycling for me is that there's no one size or shape that everyone has to conform to. Different types of cyclists can perform well on different terrains, and, well, there's no one set way to win a bike race, is there?
No, learn what your strengths are and then apply them.
Hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful.
And if you have, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It really does help support the channel, and it means that we can improve the content that we make as we get bigger. Right, we're going to go now. Love you, bye.